Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to another scene for Darkness in Dublin, the Changeling venue, where we have this merry band of assholes who will be appearing in single line. I don't know. But at least, at the very start, we will have Bambi. And Bambi will, presumably be hanging out with the nice seal lady because, I don't know, she seems like she could use company. Going through town, doing shit. Probably snag some cash off of rides because, I don't know, she's an ass, I guess. But all the same, there will be a walk-in and presumably a talk-in. But then, what will they spy? But a bookshop that is literally called The Bookshop. I mean, how can you argue with a title like that? So, out of curiosity, if nothing else, the Bambi will kind of gesture like, hey, let's check it out and poke her nose in because there might be something worthwhile. There's nothing wrong with a good book. So presumably there will be a little bell on the door because I fucking say so, and it will go jingle, jingle, jingle as they pop open the door and wander inside.
Yep. The bell actually goes jingle, 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 a little bit rusty. And you actually come and see something very similar to what you see in the picture. It's a very big, wide bookshop, many little tables, many weird volumes of books in different languages, in many other ways. A counter and a man with just a saucer, a cup, some tea, and eating a tangerine because he can. He will just look up and go like, "Oh, customers. How quaint."
Blink.
Blink.
And presuming that we do see.
Oh yeah.
Forms. It's like blink slightly up, blink
what
slightly
you
up.
actually see, it's a tall man, skeleton white, skeleton slim, long fingers, completely dressed in a three-piece suit with a top hat. That seems to be fishy in some way you cannot pinpoint from this distance. His eyes are like black and white.
Blink.
And he's just staring at you, eating the tangerine with his long fingers. Please, come on in. Have a sip. Maybe some tea, a tangerine, a book.
Blink. Because, spoiler alert, Bambi has never personally met a Slua. So she's just like, and she is your average satyr, except for the part where she has deer bits. So she has little pronged antlers. And, you know, her goat legs have adorable little white splotches. But all in all, your pretty classic satyr look. She does have on, in the Autumn World, it just looks like, you know, a little, one of those cute little, like, just plain metal bands a girl puts through her hair to hold it back out of her face. But chimerically, it is an outrageously elaborate circlet. And she does have a night sash with, I guess it is the House Liam symbol embroidered on it.
Ooh, fancy.
And it's just kind of standing there going, blink?
She's being blinked back at the moment with a wide grin, very toothy grin, actually.
I like the sounds of tea.
And he just leans and like 5 centimeters away. What kind of tea may I offer?
Standard black with milk, please.
Very well. And for the other lady, by the way, I like your horns.
Oh, thank you. I guess I'll have the same.
Excellent. And he just leans back, turns around, and disappears through a little door on the back.
Side glance. Have you ever met one of them?
Pepper, like I said to you the other day, I have no idea what's going on anymore. And she just walks in and takes a seat.
There's just kind of the nod of like, okay, that checks out. She just kind of follows her in. And for what it's worth, for Aylin's sake, Pepper has been perfectly happy and bouncy and whatnot, went around the caravan and around rides, but since they've gone out on the town together, she has been very skittish. Very skittish.
10 minutes or so, this tall, white, pale figure will come out of what could be the kitchen, place two teacups, Earl Grey tea, black standard, with a little bit of with a little cup of tea on the side, with a little cup of milk on the side for each, and a couple of biscuits. And he will just drag a chair and sit down.
And Aylin, she nods, smiling. Thank you. As she does, from underneath the kind of large scarf she's got with her, the kind of, I don't know what it's called exactly, but I know what I mean, so fuck you all. Kind of from underneath that, the large length of fabric anyway, crawling onto the table. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like that. Crawling onto the table and immediately running towards the cup is this delightful little bastard. And he walks around the cup, kind of raising his claws at it, sniffing it. But he looks up at Aylin, who gives him quite a furrow brow, and he turns round to you, Joseph. He bows.
Oh, sweet, merciful fuck, you didn't. That's marvelous.
Marvelous. Did.
Did.
But wait, there's more.
Oh, God.
I already love you. I already love you.
He bows in front of you. And he kind of stiffens up his upper chin. Yes, he has a chin. He's a crab. Deal with it. And you can see he's wearing what looks to be like, you know, those frilly kind of pompous shirts that they used to wear in the Renaissance term, with the wigs and all that. He's wearing like a little shirt coat over the top of his shell.
Oh, when he bows, he actually, Joseph actually stands up and bows to the creature, like removing his top hat and everything. Finally, someone over here shows some decency.
My good man. I have to make one simple request. By order of your Royal Highness, Lady Aylin. You do not mind, of course. Simply a mere taste, as a mere servant, my dear lady. I do not wish to be rude in your establishment.
Bambi looks like she is waiting for the other shoe to drop so hard.
And Joseph will just look at the crab and nod.
The crab then scuttles over to the biscuits. He takes one and nibbles on it.
Aww.
Nods. He passes it over to Lady Aylin. She begins just munching on it, pretty happily, just watching the crab as he spins around, dips his head in the tea, like whoop, pulls it out, shakes his head, nods. He turns back round to Joseph. I thank you, my good man. Good day.
You're most welcome, Sir Crab.
And he disappears back under the little cloak she's got. Although when he does, you can hear, "Oh, you fucking little... I did it. Yeah, I did it. I put on a good show." And you just see Aylin just smiling, like pretty happy and content with what just happened.
Yep, Pepper has a hand up over her mouth, trying to hide her grin as the grumbling starts.
So...
And at that moment...
through
the through the door walks, for those who can perceive chimerical reality, a walking tree. No, that's incorrect. A forest in bloom. A person whose skin is made of bark, whose hair is vine and thatch and flowers. And they sniff the air ever so slightly as they walk in. And the flowers that bloom in their long, matted hair cape thing are somewhere between honeysuckle and roses. The flowers bloom in black and purple, gold, but they wear a night sash of silver and green.
I think they're supposed to be white
Yes,
and then embroidered
silver
in
and green.
whatever.
Wearing the marks of House Darwan.
And immediately, Joseph gets up, goes over, slight bow. What may I offer today, sir? Book, tea, conversation?
How tall is Joseph?
Ooh.
Slua tall.
Like creepy Slender Man tall?
Yeah, basically.
Okay. So
He basically, when he moves like Jack Skellington from Nightmare Before Christmas.
okay, so Crib is average person sized. A little heavy set with glasses, and he will look to the tall, gaunt figure with the very long stride.
Oh, and the intimidating smile because he's pure teeth when he smiles.
Do you have murderous mane by chance?
Nope, I'm just
Okay.
creepy as fuck.
Just creepy AF? Okay.
Not
I will
intimidating, not assassin, just like, dude.
And there will be a moment of joy that crosses his face as he looks to the much taller, gaunt, and gangly figure that approaches him. And he'll, "Oh, Lord of Secret and Lord of Shadow, I'm here for a book. I'm here for a story."
Ah, a story. You might have best luck with an issue on that case, sire.
No, no. For your kind tell the best stories of this kingdom.
And he smiles knowingly, and he just whispers even to Aslua. This is a whispering for Aslua, I mean. But those stories do have a price, sire.
I always want to know about the faith of my followers.
And he just points at the table where the other two changelings are sitting and go like, please, have a seat. I shall bring tea and biscuits. And he just gangles his way through the back door.
And he will make his way over to the table and smile and wave at Bambi. And
Yep.
he is very giddy and like pepped up, and like he almost blooms a little bit when he waves, and it's the frantic like hand wave, like, "Hey, how you doing?"
Yeah. Yeah, Pepper looks delighted to see him. He's the nice man that grows flowers, after all. So yeah, she gives an excited wave and will even like kind of reach over to pull out one of the chairs to invite him over. Oh, Sir
When
Crab.
you pull the chair, it screeches.
She like grimaces briefly, like, oh, sorry.
And the tree man will whisper down to the chair, "Are you okay? Was that all? Are you all right?"
The chair, as per a chair, does not answer.
Don't make me roll a cantrip, because I will.
The chair is still a chair.
God
Don't
damn
worry,
it.
old friend. Just these old wooden bones. Oh, that's a bit of a stretch.
Oh
Oh,
my god.
Oh my God, you're a hero, and I love you.
don't mind the cushion. It's still a bit dusty.
God damn it.
Fucking beautiful.
Oh, Sir Crab, this is Lady Aelin. Gestures to the other side of her.
The woman with like semi-wet, matted hair, those big, almost glowing eyes, just smiles quite angelically, in fact.
Oh, Lady Aelin, it's... And he will extend his hand. Pleasure to meet you.
She stands up and passes the hand.
He will kiss her on the foremost knuckle of the middle finger. Who knew my several dots in etiquette would come in handy?
Good job, Treebeard. And she smiles. Please, the pleasure is all mine.
So, Lady Aelin, was it? Are you one of the noble landed houses, or are you from the Mer House? Are you associated with the Mer Houses?
And she shakes her head as she begins sitting down, picking up the tea again. I'll bet you can hear, kind of from her direction, just... She just smiles as one of her hands waved down behind her, just a little bit underneath her like, long wrap that she's wearing, essentially. It stops. I am Lady Aelin of House Fiona. I'm rather new around here, or at least new again. Still readjusting.
I can understand, and I can relate to that. That is, this modern day is very strange and unusual, and no one gives proper respect to the old ways anymore.
No. They don't. I'm interested, Sir Knight. As to you.
Oh, what about me? I am...
The old ways. You speak of them so respectfully. I just had to ask, I'm sorry.
And he looks flustered for a moment, and he kind of sniffles. The old ways don't get as much love as they should. The pacts and promises made aren't kept as well as they should, and for that, kind of looks around, expecting to take a bite or drink something, and then he kind of just puts his hand on his chin. This modern world is leaving us behind. Every so often we have to remind them that the promises their fathers and grandfathers and great-grandfathers and great-great-grandfathers and so on and so forth made still ring true.
She smiles, sips the tea. Noble words. I couldn't agree more.
Give me a second. I need to make looking at things. Okay, and back. Got distracted for a moment. But and we'll look over to Bambi.
She just offers a helpless shrug. I imagine it's hard for them to remember the promises if they can hardly remember us.
Well, then we should remind them.
And after a few seconds, the door screeches again. And someone just comes, sits down, and leaves the new walking forest, or forest with legs, his little cup of tea, cream, milk, and some biscuits.
Is this the tall, lanky man, or is this somebody else?
Oh, he's a tall, lanky man that's just smiling and tumbling, like tapping his fingers one against each other. Not creepily at all.
Correction. Is it Yosef or is it?
No, it's a Joseph.
It's Yosef?
Yep.
He'll smile and look up. Your hospitality is wonderful, and I thank you.
He smiles. I am very pleased that you find my hospitality acceptable. But I have not introduced myself. My name is Joseph Ilya Belyakov. But all of you can call me Veti. Or Vete.
Oh, and he will stand up and like push his chair behind him and look at the tall, lanky man.
Mm-hmm.
And what was the name you said we could call him?
Vete.
Vete?
Yeah.
And he will look at his outfit and he will just reach over and slightly adjust his vest. Because
When
just
you
ever so slightly out of portion, and you will feel a leaf. You will feel something get slipped inside between the vest and the shirt.
when you touch the vest, your fingers get kind of sticky,
That's fine.
and the leaf gets stuck.
It's not my first run-in with spider silk. I have a shirt made of it.
Smart man.
Add to your blue book. You now have a 2-dross leaf.
Oh.
And I will
Look at it and bow grandly.
humbleness and appropriate service should be rewarded. Kind. Thank you. How long have you owned this bookshop?
That's a very good question. I don't know.
Are you time lost like me?
I wouldn't say so. I would say that I'm just lost. But
Aren't we all?
don't you all worry about that. That's secondary. Now tell me, what lovely news brings the outside world?
This seems like a good place for Raven to enter.
Oh Lord.
And so a very lovely, very, for those who can see chimerical reality in the room anyway, very obviously a she, will walk in, and she's humming a little song to herself, just and she stops when she sees the people gathered talking to each other.
When she enters, this tall lanky man just steps away from his chair and bows profoundly and goes, "Milady, she."
Oh, she is also wearing a night sash with Fiona house embroidery, I think. Oh, hello there. Please, there's no need to bow. Just stand up.
And he actually stands up as commanded. It's only what a commoner must do when in presence of his superiors in rank.
I appreciate that. But I did not come here for that.
Did you come for a book? Some tea?
You know, I came thinking that I would find a book, but I'm not opposed to tea. That's a delightful surprise.
What kind of tea you may prefer?
What tea do you have?
I must recommend the house blend.
Then I will have the house blend.
And immediately he lunks away to the kitchen.
Away, skeleton man, away!
It's always impressive to watch them.
At which point Pepper finally leans over and goes, this is going to sound like a stupid question, I'm sure, but what is he?
And he will like bodily shift over towards Pepper.
Like, she's looking up at the big innocent, like, please don't be mad, but I'm so confused. World's biggest doe eyes.
You know we are all born of specific dreams and promises and oaths and hopes and whatnot, correct?
Yes, I've been told.
You are dreams of passion. I am dreams of the seasons and nature. I am the lord of the trees and the forest, of animals.
Keep just nodding along.
Kind of casts a sideways glance and then motions over to Celeste. She is a dream of nobility and motions over towards Aelin. She is a dream of the ocean. Our dear host this evening is a dream that most people wouldn't consider a dream. They are shadows, they are secrets, they are lurkers, they are the wonderful monsters under the bed. But the ones that protect you. Think like the earlier years of Monsters, Inc.
She kind of blinks a time or two and then nods and
And
seems startled that this comparison has been made. He just doesn't seem the kind of person who'd have seen Monsters Inc.
and the door opens, and the saucer with all the accessories is put down in front of the she, and he just sits down and finish. We are the dreams you do not wish to have, but can't avoid. We are the shape of that tree in your window by night. We are the sound of the wind against your old house. We are the scream of the cat and the droplets of rain in your roof. We are all that and more.
But not nightmares?
Oh, yeah. Some of us are nightmares.
I mean, the same can be said of my kid.
And mine. To an extent.
But sometimes it's good to have a nightmare. They ground you.
It keeps you in check.
What was that, Tom?
Aelin just agreed. Am I really quiet?
You were for a second.
Fucking Mike. Damn it.
It sounded like you were whispering. It sounded like an intentional quiet, not like a...
No.
Yeah, it was-
I just kind of like zoned out. Like, fuck you, Tom. I was like, all right, fuck me, right?
All right.
No, she disagreed. Continue.
Tiny Doe looks comically doubtful.
She's being pat in the head by a cold hand.
She looks even more doubtful. Kind of. It's hilarious because it's meant to be subtle and it's not at all, but Rides isn't here for her to do it to. So she kind of just slides around behind Crib. Like, this is don't mind me. Meow. Just
I noticed that all of you are members of a house nobility. And his eyes just sparkle a little bit.
Yes. Is
And
that
he will actually like look around and be like almost shocked, like noble, or rather, it's, and he says it out loud. She house, points to himself. She house, she house, she house. Well, shit, you're right.
blink.
is that intimidating for you?
No, I quite like the nobles. They are like, most of them are nice people, like the king.
Raven will nod.
No. The fuck?
Damn it, Tom.
He's fucking majestic, okay?
And he will just look at all of you and go like, now, at exchange for the tea, what news rings the outside world? And he points to Bambi.
Oh. There's the plague, which hopefully we're soon to stop.
Plague?
Oh no, you have been misinformed.
Blink? I thought all that just kind of pauses.
You're talking about the scale and the mold. the growth that affects things. That is not a plague.
Oh. I thought Tintagel talked about it as though it was a plague. Said there was a typhoid puka. But then, of course, we went to meet Moirin and saw the rot and that it was something separate.
He will roll his eyes ever. It's almost loud enough that he gives himself a concussion.
He rolls his eye so hard, he like tilts the world off its axis.
Yeah. It's like
He's getting like the biggest innocent, but I thought like like what did I do? Eyeballs.
there are things there that are correct. There are. This is because of a puka, for one. And two, they are a typhoid. Do you understand what that means? And he will, like, narrow-eyed at Bambi and then look at our generous host.
The host is just smiling. He will not take part of this.
I was told that the typhoid was Dantain and it was their nature to spread disease. But it meant that if they were killed, they would eventually just cycle back around.
So when she says the word Dantain, how does everybody react?
Raven visibly. The smile is gone. The pleasantness is gone. She picks up her tea and sips from it enough so that the teacup covers most of the expression her face is making.
I need to roll 3d10 at difficulty 8.
I'm just saying, if he glances around, she'll glance around too. Like, what
He
did I
bought-
do?
So
Like,
basically,
no, there is no, like, covering. There's no... She says Dantain, and he looks at everybody and goes, okay. And it's very much a inquisitive, no piety necessary. Looks around at everybody.
when Bambi says Dantain with this beautiful, beautiful botch,
No, you didn't.
I did.
And so the train wreck begins.
She's just kind of looking up like,
He will
something
he will
wrong.
just get up.
What did you roll? Intelligence
Something.
Greymare?
He rolled something. He rolled
Okay.
something. I'm scared.
He grabs a book, looks at it. The history of the English language. Weights it and throws it against a vase that breaks and everything scatters. A pile of book behind it falls. A picture, like a framed picture, just is hit on a weird side by the giant tome and just turns to one side, and he sits down and smiles.
I just want you to know that, like, as this thing crashes, Bambi jumps. She dances back a couple steps, but more importantly, as she jumps, there is an involuntary little meh.
And as the crashing begins, leaping out from underneath the kind of shoal, claws bared, open and ready, you just see the mighty crab in his pompous uniform.
Let me at him. Where is he? Come on, I'll take them all on. I got you, princess. Don't you worry.
And the Slua will just grab the club by a claw, pull it up, and go like, everything is fine, little crab. And place it back on the table.
He
Raven.
adjusts his tie firmly.
He has a tie now? I support him having a tie.
He adjusts it firmly.
it's at this point. I don't think I mentioned this to you, Alejandro. Raven has a pair of large swallowtail butterfly wings as well.
Oh,
And it's as he is throwing things around
yep.
that they start to flutter. She's not getting flight, just they're fluttering. Probably anyone sitting close to her would feel a nice little breeze.
Well then, if everything is in order, I shall. Yes. And he pops back down onto Aylin's chair, and she quickly just kind of throws the cloak over him. It's like, yes, you get down here, you little bastard, you.
So Crib, Tree Man, will look over at where the crab went and goes, I like him.
He's,
Marvelous.
Tiny.
He's got
Fantastic.
quite a bit of personality.
He's, quite a gentleman.
I like that one. And pointing towards where the crab went.
So you can't really see, but for those sat next to her, mainly Bambi, you can see her hand on like a figure underneath the cloak. Kind of, she's grabbing it. It's like, don't, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. Don't say anything. She's just smiling, just like, yeah.
I like that one.
He does mean well.
I can see he does. He's very protective of you.
Tiny Knot?
So he will look back to Bambi and just you know roughly how we came to be. And he will sip his lovely house blend tea.
Yes.
You know the very basics of how the changeling way and we reincarnate and stuff like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So his face self, that rat puka, that typhoid, his face self came back inside out and wrong and virulent and infectious.
I was told there was no way to fix it when that happens.
That's pretty much true. Once somebody incarnates as a Dante, they're a danger to all of us. I know there are other types, but I've only ever really encountered typhoids in my existence. We'll sip his tea.
The tea is warm and nice and tasty.
But they are a danger to all things connected to the dreaming.
Another tiny nod.
And that includes dreamers, mortals, people who generate glamour, people who are creative, people who are the artists, the makers, the dreamers, and the doers.
I didn't know.
And of course, me.
Of course. I heard that you'd been doing great work with those who were already ill. Appreciate what you've done.
I'm not seeking praise for the things I have done. I'm just trying to make sure you understand how serious this is. This isn't a plague. This is because a plague isn't the right word. A plague is uncontrollable without quarantine. This has options, and none of them pleasant. But sometimes we do what we have to do.
Oh,
And
don't
he
it's true.
says that in a way that reminds you kind of the roses.
Yep.
When we get big, we feed.
Droopy ears.
This is not a recoverable condition, and it could kill or infect everybody and every creative soul in the kingdom.
I thought that what Tintagel was making was supposed to set it right.
It may.
I mean, that's what we're working on. That's the plan. That's the hope.
Hey, John, give him soda. I'll be right back.
There is always hope that if something can be dreamed, then it can be made reality.
Can't imagine that someone hasn't dreamed of being cured of all sorts of
Exactly.
impossible things. I'm sure we can.
The reality of such an item. What its limitations might be. However, Tintagel may make it is really the only thing that we would have to contend with if he can make such a thing.
Don't we have most of what we need? There's just 2 more pieces. We're getting closer.
In which might I be of assistance to this quest?
You should speak with His Grace, Count Tintagel. And Raven will say the rest of his name that Heather forgot out of character.
Flick of flame, whatever.
Dougal.
Little contraction, Dougal.
The white flame dancing on the grave of the... no, sorry, that's the Witcher.
Think Witcher, app Dougal.
Right.
Oh, there you go.
He is the one making this item, and he is the one that would probably be able to direct you to how you could be most helpful, unless you have skills that might be able to help Sir Crib here.
And he just slunks away to his desk, and out of chimerical view, it might just be look like this fine gentleman here is taking a metal pointer, one of those retractables, but all of you can see that it's actually a rapier.
Blink.
Ooh.
Ooh,
I'm
swang.
good with this. That's basically it.
For what it's worth, knight or no, even chimerically, Bambi ain't got no weapons.
The
I
sword
have
was
a
like-
crab.
I have Feymail, chimerically, and a trash can lid.
I have a crab. So
You do have a crab. I think you're the best armed here.
Basically, yeah.
So, Tintagel is leading this. And this adventure. But it would be good to know where, and he'll scratch his nose and look at.
Before he finished the question, a look of urgency goes through this slew of faces as he darts into the kitchen.
And we'll just... And he is looking at the door. And he'll wait.
Oh, don't worry about me, old chap. He's going back for a break.
Of course, the door replies.
And still staring at the door.
A blink sick crib. Looks at the door.
It must have been quite important.
They're sneaky. We're patient.
You never said what they were called.
And he will lean over towards Bambi, still staring at the door. Never said that who was called.
I'm gonna say whatever the fuck name he told us we could use this because I can't remember.
Crib
What?
is his regular
No,
name.
Yosef's.
What Yosef is. You described what kind of dream, but never said what they were called.
Oh, they are slew.
Oh. Thank you.
The Slua are fantastic and wonderful.
They really.
Oh, sorry, go ahead, Tom.
She just again. They really are.
I remember good things about them.
I don't remember anything.
Gotta pop AFK real quick.
Okay.
It's okay. In time, Lady Pepper, your memories may return, or we may find someone to help you with that. Or you will simply learn as you go. Sometimes it's what we must do.
Or we'll just make new ones. That's alright.
Oh, there's always time to make new memories.
I dare say it's more beautiful this way. Seeing everything with fresh eyes.
I can honestly say I have more fondness for the memories I've made here than for the vague impressions of what I remember back there.
Just a slight nod of agreement. For what it's worth, Pepper is still standing kind of awkwardly, just a bit aside of everyone, really.
Sips tea.
Oh, she left her tea on the table. Damn it.
Is Aelin digging this shit as she strangles the crab on the cloak?
Out of curiosity, how far away is Bambi?
She's a good, healthy step, like that just out of arm's reach step away from just about everyone.
Okay. Raven's gonna move her chair so she's a little closer.
Oh, Bambi's standing.
Yeah.
She kind of
Pepper.
blinks.
Why don't you take your seat again? I'm
Oh.
awfully stressed.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, you have nothing to apologize for.
Yeah, she, with a reminder, will come and click back over. Get back into the seat alongside Aelin.
I've nothing to worry about. I'm here at least. And of course, the valiant knight, as she just kind of like the eyes look down to where she's strangling the fucking crab.
There's at first a very fleeting little smile and then a more amused one. She says her noble knight.
He does try.
I do think he likes you as well.
Do you think so?
I would think so. I've known him quite a while. He's known me even longer. He definitely likes you.
Another just faint but earnestly pleased little smile.
I hope so. I feel as though it would almost be a personal achievement.
Grinning.
And
I
Ursula
never
slants back
thought
from the
I would-
kitchen.
Raven will look at Pepper. I never thought I heard the day where I would see a day where I could say that being liked by a crab was a personal achievement.
She kind of rolls in her lips for a second, like,
Raven is smiling when she says it. Like she finds it very. I don't know if amusing is the right word, but she's very entertained by the idea that there's like a little merit, like that you could get a little merit badge for befriending this crab.
it bloops up on the bottom of your screen.
Yep.
Achievement unlocked. Crab friendship.
Yes.
Companion acquired.
Full of this little fucker.
But the silhouette has returned. Crib has been staring so doggedly at that fucking door.
And he turns around, looks at the door, looks back. It's just my kitchen. I forgot that I left the kettle on.
It's no bother. Please do join us again.
But you dove away so quickly.
Yes, it's the legs. They allow me to go fast. And he just brings a screeching chair over and sits down like it was music.
I imagine you would have dove so quickly because there was some kind of fire involved.
No fire, actually.
Really? Yours doesn't have fire?
Hmm.
Mine does. You turn the knob and there's a click, 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 and then poof, fire.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Let's
No,
not dwell
I
on
just-
that.
So, Sir Joseph,
Yes?
I have important questions for you.
Oh, yes. You may ask.
What arts do you know?
Oh, he cocks his head to one side. Wafer,
Mhm,
Dragonsire.
mhm.
And he just looks to one side, looks to the other, and goes really close to your ear. And autumn.
He will smile.
He will smile too and pull back.
He will just nod. And are you skilled enough in Wayfair and the Fey realm to open a wrath?
Not sadly, no.
How skilled are you in Wayfair?
I can move quick.
Yeah. And he will just nod. When you are able to walk through walls or other substances, contact me. I have need for your services,
Very well.
and you shall be paid appropriately.
Oh. Yes, sire.
Oh, no, sire on this. This is one dream reaching to another for mutual benefit.
And he nods.
Wide-eyed
And-
blink.
He'll just smile and nod, much like the captain from the Penguins, just smile and nod.
Just smile and nod, but just smile and nod, boys.
You didn't see anything. And alas, Lady Aelin continues sipping tea, just happily smiling away to herself, like, yes, I am with people. This is fun. Socializing. Look at
Her
me.
her tea tastes a little bit of roses, actually.
She finally finishes that after being sipping on it for a good while. And she turns to the generous host, of course. Tea, it's quite divine, I must say.
Yes, I have many, 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 many,
Blink.
many kinds of tea.
Really?
Yes, I organize them when I board.
How interesting.
No, actually, it isn't. I'm just very bored.
I mean, the large assortment of tea. Never thought there would be such a strong collection. Just like these
Oh.
books.
He nods, agreeingly.
All right, everybody, I gotta bounce. It's bedtime
Go
Okay.
to sleep. We
because
love you.
I have a terrible early appointment tomorrow.
Oh no.
All right. See you later, dear.
Goodbye, my son. Go
Ah,
forth.
I shall go forward and conquer,
Yes.
lay waste.
Yes.
Right. Night, everybody.
Bye bye.
And so, as Treebeard disappears into the ether,
Poof.
not really, he just gets up, walks out politely, because hey, what a nice guy, right? Yeah, even so, the chair he was trying to, oh my good man, Blue, come again. So much happens. Is it, Aelin, is there a teapot on the table, or is it just kind of cups?
Sorry, what?
Is there a teapot on the table, or is it just cups of tea?
There is just cups of tea, but you may ask for a teapot without any kind of problem.
So she smiles and just picks up one of the biscuits and just begins nibbling on it. A very, very rehearsed.
Nibbling.
Yeah, just like yip, 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 yip. Strangling the crab. Like, yes, I am a lady. This is fun. I'm socializing. I know what I'm doing. Of course I do.
So there is a plague going on. Anything else?
There's a war.
And he just coughs in Slua.
He coughs in Slua. God
Oh,
damn it.
that got me. I wasn't expecting that.
And something just gleams in his eyes and goes like, war? To whom? Against whom? May I join?
War with Ulster. With members of House Baylor in the Ulster.
Why?
I assume, at least in part, because of the raids where they are killing and torturing the common folk.
They in Slua. All of it is in Slua.
I admit I haven't heard what started it, but all the same, it is a factor. It's
And
definitely current.
he will just look through one window where he suppose Ulster's is located, just raise a fist and go like, you Scullion, you Rampalian, you Fustilarian, I will tickle your catastrophe. And he
Blink.
mumbles something.
You can see the kind of calm look Aylin's had on there, the calm, pleasant look she's had. You know, it doesn't change much, but you see her eyebrows kind of furrow, and actually, as you look out the window, it starts to rain.
Damn it. And he just, when he finished, he mumbles something very low.
I've got a roll to try and hear that. I'm interested now.
Fuck it. I'm gonna roll too. That's right. I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, I want to hear what the creepy
I'm curious.
I want to hear what he's saying. I'm very good at hearing what people say, but I'm just going to try it.
Okay, I see.
That's up to you on diff. I mean, I don't really care, but I
I
rolled.
see 3 successes on the other one. And I
And
see
I got nothing.
You heard only hear Silua.
Yeah. It's just, wow, he really talks in Slua when he's upset.
And the other 2 of you hear that he mumbles Henry the Fourth, Part 2, Act 2, Scene 1.
Aylin, again, is kind of, this is a nice biscuit, yes. You can see, like, her eyebrows furrow a bit.
Or yes. You mentioned raids, Lady Antlers.
Oh, Pepper. Sorry, I never introduced myself. I'm Pepper.
Like the condiment?
Yes?
Okay, Lady, I mean Pepper.
Blink.
Aylin leans over into Pepper's ear. You know, if you think about it, with the salt of the sea and pepper.
Oh, God.
She grins, glancing aside.
Just kind of like, strangles the crab.
It definitely gets a bit of a snicker because okay, that's pretty funny.
But yes, Pepper. Yes, House Baylor has been raiding. They've been hurting people. I know that sounds silly, but it's the part that matters to me.
It's most important when commoners or nobles get skewered on raids. This must not happen. So, and he just straps the rapier on his belt.
Probably wise. I I admit I haven't heard many details. I don't know where they have and haven't raided. I know that we have raided in return. I heard that we captured someone, one of them.
Oh.
I believe the Count
Mhm.
has her.
Which one of them all?
I do not remember out of game if she has heard the details of who was captured, so she gives a shrug. Just Count Tangel has whoever it is.
He nods, he nods.
But yeah, I think he and Karina led that? Glancing over to Raven.
Yes, I believe that is correct.
I know that Rides went.
Brides went, yes.
I admit I don't know much else.
She will turn to Yosef. Karina is Baroness Karina Storm Fury app house name Heather can't pronounce out of character.
Isn't it Acer? Or
Acer, something like that.
yeah.
He nods. He gets it. And some of you may think that he's taking mental notes of this.
Sips tea. No, nibbles on biscuit.
He sees you going for the teacup, and he just gets up and with his arm reach under the one of the tables and brings out the kettle and just pours more tea. If anyone bothers to see, yes, there are kettles under some of the tables.
You, sir, are quite remarkable.
I'm well prepared or lazy, one of the two.
Sips tea.
This tea tastes like dandelion.
Oh, sips tea harder.
This is getting too intense for me.
Yes. Just all the etiquette, all of it. So ladylike.
Fortunately, I don't really know much of what's going on. I mean, I have sent a letter to the higher ups, my house at least, hoping for, oh, what is the word? Audience.
I see. And this might be a little bit of a personal question, so feel free not to answer it. How did you come to be part of a house? All of you, I mean.
I cannot remember exactly, for it was. She looks upwards. Potentially centuries ago at this rate.
Ah, yes.
But I still remember bits and pieces. Although I think I'm going to need a new sash. I appear to have lost mine with the parting gift as she just kind of like strokes the cloak. She strokes the sealskin. Yes, this is mine. But it's been a long while. At least the headaches have gone, so things are getting a little bit clearer. I'm hoping my audience with the higher ups will at least help with some of that.
I'm sure it will. Glance over to Raven.
Raven's not here.
Bounces over to Bambi.
Raven will.
Damn it, Raven!
Ha!
Raven will look at Lady Aelin. If you need any assistance, just say the word and I will do what I can for you.
And likewise to you, of course. But for now, I believe everything are in my capable hands, at least.
That's good to hear.
Sips tea. Sips tea.
Raven also sips her tea. This time she appears to actually be enjoying it and not using it to hide whatever facial expression she was making.
Since Lady Raven asked for the house special, her tea tastes like cardamom, a little bit of pepper, turmeric, and something lemony that you cannot put your finger on.
Ooh, okay. She will ask about that then. What is this lemony flavor in the tea? It doesn't quite taste like lemon.
Lemon oil from bubblegum.
Oh, interesting.
Yes. They work very well together. Now, lady, the same question extends to you. I know, of course, that it's your birthright to be part of a house, but I'm interested. How is House Fiona around this time?
Did you say this time or this town?
This time. Time.
Okay. House Fiona itself is doing rather well here, it seems. There are quite a few of us.
Oh.
I don't know a lot about the state of the house itself. I'm sorry. I've not been here very long. I left Arcadia, and I was trying to get to Concordia, and instead I wound up here in Leinster somehow.
Mm-hmm. I see. And he finally looks at Bambi.
Oh, my knighting was very unconventional.
Oh, much more interesting then.
Oh. I went with Count Tintagel and some of the others to hunt down one of the pieces that we needed for this item he's making to help with the sickness that's spreading. And we needed the hammer from a one-armed and one-eyed smith who had used the hammer to craft wondrous things. And when we arrived, she asked what we had brought to offer her in return, and was not well pleased with the answer. And
What was the answer?
She awkward face is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Initially, Count Tintagel offered out his sword to her, and she said that she would accept it. And then he said, "Oh no, I meant to offer it as my half of a wager." And she immediately refused, saying that she didn't want to play games. And it seems that he was unwilling to part with it. And truth be told, there are so many lives that ride on finding this thing, on making this cure. And I couldn't bear to leave empty-handed, so we had been speaking to her, And Tintagel had insisted that he knew the pains that she had suffered. I could tell that it made her angry. Someone claiming to know what she had been through. So, when she was about to force us to leave, I offered to stay. I told her that if she gave us the hammer, I would stay with her until she could craft another of equal use, and that if she wished to be understood, I would hear her story and do my best to understand properly. That if she did not, then I would understand that she didn't. And so she accepted, and I stayed with her in the Far Dreaming for what felt like a month. To us, it was a month. I think Ride said it had only been a week when I got back. But all the same, in the time we were there, she made this, and she points up to this elaborate circlet. For the sake of reference, if you look up like Arwen's circlet from Lord of the Rings, it's like that minus the dangly bits, and it has one large and two smaller green stones set, one in the brow and one in each temple. It's like a brownish metal, green stones. And as she made this for me, she said that she simply could not put this on the brow of a commoner, and offered to knight me. I told her that I do not know the responsibilities of a knight, and she simply didn't seem to care. I told her that I was no fighter, and she didn't mind that either. And last I told her that I had many friends, other commoners, that were precious to me, and that I had every intention of joining them in a motley. And still she said she didn't care what people thought of it, thought of her knight doing these things. In the end, I decided that if it would make her happy, I would accept. And so I did. And she knighted me before we returned. She, of course, is House Dougal, but I do not think any other house suits me so much as this one. And she just kind of rubs idly at, that symbol of House Liam. And so, well, I am not much of a knight.
That's where you seem to be wrong, Lady Pepper.
I never aspired to be a knight.
You might have never aspired to be a knight, but you seem to have many of the... And he just licks his lips looking for the word. Many of the gifts to become
Qualities.
one. Ah, yes, that. Thank you. The qualities to become a good knight. You care about your fellow changelings. You care about those in lower station. And I'm sure that you do things keeping honor and chivalry in mind, like the defense of the downtrodden. Am I right?
Well, of course. How could I not care?
Then congratulations. You're a knight.
There's a kind of comically perturbed face, like, but doesn't
And
really last.
her nose is being touched by a cold, slimy hand. A knight, I said. Spoke.
And there's again a comical reaction as she was a little distant-eyed, like, but that doesn't make any. Oh God! And kind of
He is
jolts
right,
back a
Pepper.
little.
You do have the spirit of a knight.
I had always thought that knights were valiant and fearless. They were meant to defend their people with a sword.
They are, but they're also loyal, steadfast.
a bulwark against whatever comes forward. You showed that.
There is more than one way to defend another with a sword. Sure, it
Yes.
is easy enough to leave and fight in battle and slay any who would harm those you care about, or harm the place you care about, or harm your house. But that is not all a sword does. A sword is also used to parry.
I just want it noted that when she says, oh, it's easy enough to go off and fight, and she's like,
And sometimes it is harder to know when to stay and protect than when it is to leave and fight.
I suppose so. Thank you.
You're welcome, Lady Pepper.
Yes.
I had thought, I am sure even that Count Titagel thinks that she only did such a thing because of the bedlam.
Perhaps.
Though perhaps I unfairly thought less of it.
She had her reasons, whatever they were.
I think she respects the ability to make a hard sacrifice for people who need it.
From the story you told, you did something truly wonderful for her.
I tried
Something
to.
she must have truly needed. I don't think she would knight you simply because she made a circlet for you.
It's kind of a shrug. It is the shrug of, I'm not going to say it to a she, but she do crazy shit sometimes.
Raven, Raven, for her part, like she sees the shrug. Our reasons aren't always clear to others, but they are always clear to us.
Well, I suppose that's clear enough.
It is.
But yes, that is how that happened. I was knighted in the far dreaming.
And he nods. He just nods and just suddenly stops and serves himself a cup of tea and sips from it.
It was a very strange and interesting place to be. And surprisingly hard to come back from.
Now, all of this is very interesting. Anyone has any other piece of information that may want to exchange for its tea?
Oh! She kind of perks up and looks over at him.
Has your rose appeared yet?
Sorry, what?
And for Alejandro's sake, it'll say on like the plots thread, basically anywhere that a changeling lives, sooner or later, a magical rose floating under a glass case, very Beauty and the Beast style, will appear in your home.
Okay. And like he just scours his thoughts, raises up a finger, goes behind the counter, and you hear something going clack clack. Thump.
Blink.
Unlike-
Ship's tea.
And like 5 minutes later, thump. Clack clack. And the Selua comes back with a rose inside a glass case.
Oh, I'm. We've been warned not to touch them. The rose, no matter how careful you are, you'll touch a thorn and it will drink in the blood that it draws. But if you hadn't planned for it, was hoping to ask if you would mind me taking it.
May I ask why?
I am, and I totally forgot to mention, but Wallpepper has had ass length hair up
Yeah.
until recently. She's currently sporting a real short do, like up at the front by in front of her ears. It's maybe
Oh.
chin length, but it's cut super short in the back. It's been styled so it's not horrifying, but it's a lot of not hair. She does also
Yeah.
have a thistle flower stuck behind her ear.
He will play as he didn't know this on the past, like your hair being chopped off. So
Yeah.
he just keeps smiling.
Kind of like Aylin's length, I assume.
In the front, it gets even shorter in the back. She essentially had to hack off a ponytail.
Well, we've brought several of them together, and the results were a bit scary. And I had touched mine a few times,
Right.
and it reacted, and I panicked, and I gave it over to Sir Crib. But I wonder if maybe they're not as scary as I thought when I was so excited about it. And I feel badly for having it caged away. Just if you touch them more than once, they begin to grow. They grow vines and they reach for you. My first one,
She very sheepishly kind of points at the back of her head.
I was going to tuck it in my hair to take it to show to Sir Crib, and it began to grow while I was putting it back there and wreathed into my hair, and I couldn't get it out, so I panicked.
Kind of shrugs.
Very well. If this makes you happy. And he slides the rose over the table. But you will owe me a favor.
I'm not sure what kind of favor I can do you.
Don't worry. I'm sure in time I will know.
She actually hesitates to take it.
He smiles.
That doesn't help. Mr. Toothy Shark, like needle teeth maw. Like he smiles to reassure her, and she just like leans back a little, like, "Oh, that's lovely. What a pleasant smile." Oh God.
There is something wrong.
Oh, no, I've been careful with favors. Outside of this, and she gestures to the group of them out there, There are people who would like a great number of things of me, and not always things that I'm especially willing to give.
Do you wish for a bug to take your rose with you?
You kind of staticked for a second.
He basically said, if you wish a bug to take your rose with you.
Uh, are you sure?
Okay. He will get up, go to the back to the counter, and bring a nice but simple brown bag that says the bookshop.
And yeah, she just kind of looked at him and was like, Are you sure? Like, wait, what?
All right, just I'm going to assume, but I have to ask: is it a paper bag or is it plastic?
It's paper.
All right, nothing. Continue. Sips tea.
My oceans!
you, you, I was about to bring up the crab again, but it's all right. It's paper. Continue. We'll save that one for another time then, shall we?
He will, nope. He will just look at the bag and look at Yongo like, we have this plastic last year.
She just smiles. Quite angelically, in fact. It's a very nice looking smile. There's nothing absolutely stunning. I mean, she is at appearance 4, but it's more the fact it's just warming, almost calming to a point. She smiles pretty happily, just like, I'm a lady, sip my tea, look at me being social, I know what I'm doing.
The more times you say it, the less convincing it is.
Look. I got a crab, all right.
I'm a lady, damn it.
I'm a lady and I'm sipping tea. Ugh.
No, now I'm throwing a tantrum.
Oh, please, God. I hope I'm there if she ever throws a tantrum.
Oh, you do not. No. Spoilers. Spoilers. Anyway, continue.
And he just grabs the rose in its lovely thingy, puts it inside the bag, gives it to you. Actually, he just places it on top of the table and just looks at you.
Blinks. I mean, promises aside, if you're ever in need, I'm always willing to help. I know what I can do. Here, let me do something for you.
Right.
Do fight.
And she starts to get up out of her seat.
What?
She gets up out of her seat. And
Okay.
actually reaches up and plucks the thistle flower from behind her ear.
Could you scoot out a little bit from the table?
Oh, he grabs the table, parts away with it.
He grabs the table, flips it into the back room. Yes.
The tea somehow magically lands perfectly in her lap. No. But she'll come over and glance to the front of the store. Are there windows? Are there blinds on them?
There are windows. They're just open because middle of the day, I suppose.
It stopped raining, by the way.
Oh, yay. She will clippity clap over, and if there are blinds, she will pull them for the ones that face this portion of the shop. Just because people seeing that shit is weird. A little clips over, pulls them down, and clippity claps back over, holding the flower in her hand. And I need to double check my shit real fast. Because I'm going to need some things. So it'll be... base difficulty in the gray world is 8.
-3 is still that's still 5, so fuck it. So yeah, she'll clip over. Oh wait, it's +1. Is there any better bunk I can do? I don't think I can. So we'll do it at diff 6 and hope it works out. And she comes over and, taking the thistle flower, starts to kind of roll the bulb of the flower between her fingers, like very tightly holding it to kind of break it loose. And taking the petals, we'll just walk a circle around him from, the 12 o'clock point just behind him all the way around. And as she does so, says, "May your troubles be less, your blessings be more, and nothing but happiness come through your door." And that is 4 successes. It's hot shit.
Yeah.
So
difficulty 6, nice.
it's -3 for the for her bunks.
Then it shouldn't be like 5?
It would, except she is also using Time Realm,
Okay.
which adds another +1.
Yeah.
So you now have a hanging spring 3 effect on you if you are ever injured, like seriously injured. Essentially, if you take lethal, it will take effect and last for, I can't even pull up my thing right now to see how long it lasts on 4 successes.
Give me 1 second because I have it, like I literally have a
I want to say it's like a
PDF.
day?
How the thing is called? Spring tree?
Spring 3.
From what I suppose it's from the art of spring.
Yeah. I don't remember what the actual name of the thing is called. I just know it's the Spring 3 art. Something of healing, Spring of Healing, something like that.
Spring. What level it is?
3.
Well of life.
Yes. How long does it last for 4 successes?
Well of life. You have 4 successes?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's 1 day.
Okay, so yeah, when it goes off, it will last on him for a day. People in the same scene with you will be healed for 1 point of bashing or lethal. People touching you will be healed for 1 point of bashing or lethal a turn. And if you eat, like essentially if you like bite your nail and eat it or something, you will get 4 points of healing on the spot.
Oh, nice.
And it will last for a full day when it takes effect. But she is setting the condition at when you are
hurt,
lethally injured.
Okay. He will look at this and he will start looking to one side and to the other and to one side and to the other, raise up a finger, goes to the end of the library, picks up a book, pulls out a quill, writes something, closes the book, gives it to you.
Think?
The book it's actually, let me actually see my actual library.
Aha.
6T.
It is As You Wish by William Shakespeare.
She smiles. It won't take effect for something like a fist fight. It won't be wasted on that. But when you get into a real fight, when you're in trouble, it should help.
Thank you very much, my lady.
Well, I couldn't ask something of you for nothing.
And he giggles.
And she smiles and finally comes back around and sits back down and sips her tea that she has been admittedly kind of neglecting.
Her tea actually tastes like lavender.
Ooh. She'll be delighted.
It's been most suspicious of a day, but... And he points at the clock. I need to close up shop.
Oh, of course.
Of course.
Well, of course. Sorry, I just wanted to jump on the
grin.
Yeah. Sorry. Um, and of course, if there is anything I might do for you, please come and just ask of me. Uh, I'm very particular of usefulness in a certain situations, but if you ever need a champion to fight for you, let me know.
Of course. Thank you.
It's a polite smile. You should come by Tintagel's library sometime. I think you'd like it.
You know what? And he will just go out there, pick up an umbrella, open it up. Let's go.
But oh, don't. Okay.
Oh.
And we'll get herself up and kind of pick up the bag awkwardly.
Do you mind if I just need to walk somewhere for a moment, tuck
Oh,
this
no.
away?
Sure, of course.
But yeah, absolutely. Do you know where the Trods is, the closest one?
And he will just look and go like, "No, I have never left this place."
Oh,
And I do mean it. I have never left my library. I live downstairs.
oh. She'll glance over to Raven. Would you mind showing him the Trod? Helping him get to the market? I'll be there in just a bit. I'm sure Tangel wouldn't mind me bringing him to the library.
Darn it, are you BRB'd again, Heather? Or are you headset muted?
What's up?
She glanced over at Raven and was basically like, would you mind showing him where the closest trot is? And getting him as far as the Changeling market. I'll be there in a little bit, but I just need to drop this off.
Of course not. Are you sure that's wise, Lady Pepper?
Which part?
All of it?
She kind of looks down at the bag.
Probably not, but...
Do you want me to escort you, my lady?
Rides isn't going to be happy.
The face kind of collapses a little bit, and she looks at her, and you get the full effect, biggest, roundest hazel doe eyes you have ever seen in your life, as she says, please don't tell him.
Raven will take a hand out and just gently stroke her hair. If I won't tell him. If he gets angry, come and let me know.
I'll be okay.
I'll set him straight.
I'll be all right. I don't want him to worry for no reason.
That's why I won't tell him.
Thank you.
And she'll give Pepper a little pat as she finishes stroking her hair.
Aelin is soon affixed by the same big round eyes.
Aelin is just still sat there sipping tea, like, oh look at me. I'm not doing anything. Hey, you guys are all chatting and stuff and
planning to leave because he's about to close shop.
Yeah, no. She was finishing the tea. She was being respectful, unlike some leaving it.
Hey.
But she stood up, kind of fixing her coat. The crab you can see down at her foot, and she just kind of looks at you.
Please don't tell Rides about the rose.
What rose?
Thank you.
Just that warm smile again. And Joseph.
Yes.
She waits for him to finish that.
He finished.
If you've never left this bookstore, then one day I will have to show you the beach.
Oh, the beach. I have heard so much of it. Like it's full of sand.
It is. And the sea and everything else. I'm sure you've read many stories on it.
Yes. And he points to one book that it says Robinson Crusoe. And below it there is 80 leagues of I think it's underwater travel or something. It's but
Oh, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea?
yeah, that one. I cannot translate it from Spanish because it has a different name.
Yes.
But she just smiles warmly. Then I'll just have to show you then.
And he warmly nods like a child.
As a thank you for the hospitality, at least.
Do you wish to take some tea with you, since you seems to be enjoying it so much?
I think leaving it here so that I would come back.
Very well. Then maybe some biscuits for your crabby friend.
The crab puffs up his chest. He takes a stride outwards from behind her ankle.
I did it again.
He pulls out a scroll. It's bigger than him. It's a full-size scroll. And he rolls it out. It rolls comically far. Pretty much down to your feet. You can see it's numbered from 1 to 42.
Right.
He pulls out a little pointer, extends it. It's telescopic, much like your rapier is.
Mm-hmm.
And he points down to number 37. By order of the royal decree signed by Sir Cumblesbatch myself, do not feed the crab.
He will take like 2 steps and reach the crab. He will pull out the biscuit and just start poking it in the mouth with the biscuit, like pop, 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 pop.
Sir,
pop,
please.
pop. And when he goes, sir, jumps. And he will just turn around and start walking away.
As you drop him to the ground, he looks mortified and just kind of like, oh my god, I've broken one of the rules.
Oh god, this is too much.
He begins to the pointer poof and the scroll poofs out of existence as he's picked up the biscuit removed from his mouth by Lady Aelin. She just kind of puts him she puts him kind of like on her shoulder where he begins to have the 1,000-yard stare. Hello darkness, my old friend, essentially.
Oh no.
And she just smiles quite warmly again. Don't worry about him. He'll be just fine. He's a very by-the-book person.
He's very, very nice. I like him.
Yeah. She smiles and, of course, will give a nod to Yosef and the others as everyone's kind of beginning to leave and she'll make her way out.
And when they all leave, he will just turn around, close the door, and all of you can see a very weird sight. The door has 7 locks, according to the old traditions.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Raven will be waiting for him to take him to the Trod.
Key is taken. Oh boy.
Yes. They'd probably a very, very... She'll have him loop his arm through hers in a very gentlemanly fashion as she escorts him through the city.
And this has happened.
Shall we call it there, guys?
Seems like a good place to call it.
Yeah, I need a new set of pants. Now these are stained with tea.
Mission accomplished.
So thank you, players, for playing and watchers for watching. We'll see you next time in Darkness in Dublin, the Changeling venue. Bye-bye.